Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, something a bit different today. I want to show you my favorite guitar, the one that ruled them all and really ended my obsession with buying and selling guitars. And you might wonder why I'm talking about this on a watch channel. Well, you know, I'm still in the obsession mode with watches. I keep on wanting to buy, sell some of them. You know how it goes, it's really bad. And I wonder when I will find the one to rule them all. Maybe I already own it and don't really realize it. But anyway, when I was living in Japan, the access to the very best guitars was so easy with such a big concentration of the greatest guitar shops, some of the greatest guitar shops on earth. And certainly an access to anything vintage. And my favorites, the Gibson custom shop models. So, you know, in the 50s, they were making those guitars and they were not so popular. And then by the late 60s, they became ultra popular and everybody played them. Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, everybody had to have a 58, a 59 or a 60 Les Paul. So with the historic program, Gibson Custom Shop really tried to get closer and closer to how they used to make them, because in the 70s, you know, they changed the glue, they changed the wood. They couldn't get, you know, the same old growth mahogany that they did, which is the main thing that that's going to differ from the guitars today, from the guitars of the past. But they've tried to refine, to get back to the same formula with the nitro finish, with the glue, the high glue used on the neck and on the body. And trying to get the better wood. Usually the custom shop will get the lighter wood, and around 4 kilograms is the perfect weight for Les Paul, but sometimes you can get them a bit lighter. Lighter is not better. Also, the electronics had changed, and they had to get back to the old formula to try to get them better. And as you can see, my guitar looks all beat up. That is made at the factory. They try to age them to give the broken feel, which is also what you get when you get a vintage instrument. It's been played, it's been broken in, and it just feels better, especially on the neck. So anyway, yeah, I bought and sold many guitars, and I'll do a video about that. I found back many of the pictures and some videos, and also I have an Excel sheet where I keep track, which is good to do with your watches and with your guitars, because at some point you just don't know how much you're losing or maybe winning. Sometimes I made money on guitars that I just didn't like, and they were very expensive guitars, very well made, but they just something didn't click, didn't work together. So everything has to be working in a harmony. And so you go through many guitars until you find the one that really works for you, and also for the style of music you want to play. For me, it's mostly early 70s classic rock. Doesn't really need high gain. It's more like a Jimmy Page kind of sound, which is often not as gainy as you would imagine. And obviously this guitar here, if you know a bit about Led Zeppelin, you will recognize it as looking very much like the Jimmy Page's #1 guitar, the most famous guitar in the world, the most valuable guitar in the world, even more than Joe Perry's 59, of which I have, by the way, the Gibson Custom Shop Recreation, and also the Pearly Gates of Billy Gibbons. Another 59 Les Paul. I had one and I sold it because it just didn't sound right. Anyway, one day I was in Tokyo and at the G Club, which is one of the main importers, and they have a direct line of contact with the custom shop asking special runs. And I see this guitar, and I knew of these. They had made a little run of a few of these with the Jimmy Page style appointments. So what they are not the actual Jimmy Page guitar. That's a guitar from 2003 when they tried to recreate. They made Jimmy Page, they took measurements, and you know, they did this very thin elliptical neck, a neck that had been you know, sanded down in the middle quite a lot. They put the Grover tuners. They got sort of like the right color, but not quite right. And it completely messed up the wiring. So Jimmy Page wiring is just standard. The difference is that when you pull this pot, it's going to be out of phase to have a sound a bit like Peter Green's guitar. What Gibson did is wire those two out of phase by turning the magnet here, and then putting a split, coil split on this push-pull to have just one coil on this pickup, which is not at all what Jimmy Page has, because most of the time he will have the normal wiring and play on the middle position. So you're totally not getting the right thing, and most people don't understand that about the Jimmy Page sound in his guitar. Most of the time, he didn't have any special wiring when he was with Led Zeppelin. He just added the coil split later on, the phase switch later on. But you don't really hear it during his Zeppelin days. So this guy from a G Club in Tokyo decided to order something a lot closer to it. So what he got is what they call a 58 body. So not the flame not too strong, just like Jimmy Page, with a bit of an angle to it, just like his guitar. And you'll see here it's really close. Also, he wanted the color to be much closer. Now for the neck, rather than the bizarre elliptical neck of the original, he chose the version 2, as it's known, 60 neck. So the neck of the 50s Les Pauls got thinner with the years. 57 is going to be quite round and thick. 58 very similar to that. 59 is the perfection. It got much thinner, and especially on the sides here, you don't feel the shoulders so much. Then in the 60s, they had different batches, and it got thinner and thinner. So when they did the recreations for the historic program, the 50th anniversary, they did 3 versions of it. And version 1 close to the 59, version 2, which is what I have here, and a version 3 really thin. So version 2 is really great. And at first in the past I used to play fairly thick necks, and then I realized with this guitar that it's much easier to play, much easier to solo especially. So we still have the Golden Grovers, and they replicated all the wear and tear that they did, that Tom Murphy, if you know him, had done on the original Jimmy Page run of guitars, to replicate all the wear on those guitars. This one I think wasn't done by Tom Murphy. It's done by the guys at the factory, but they've really improved their technique, and it's really close. It's not too much. It's just a light wear, and the color is fantastic. The flame is great, and most importantly, instead of doing I mean, here you can't get the out of phase, but to be honest, it's such a weird sound, very recognizable, that it's a bit too gimmicky. So you have the regular wiring, but you have 2 push-pulls. So here you're going to split the coil here, so you can get just this one or this one, to get a closer approximation of a Telecaster or a Stratocaster. And then you have one here for the neck. So it's great. You can get closer. Because I play in a cover band sometimes, some songs you want a thinner sound, something more like a Strat. And then some songs when you play, for example, Led Zeppelin, you want the full whack of the humbuckers. Here I have everything, and then you can put in the middle and play with your volumes to mix and match, and you use those splits to get a lot of different sounds. I can almost get an approximation of the out of phase sounds using this. And but most importantly, sometimes when you do those funny wiring, it just doesn't work with the type of humbucker you're having, and in this case it works perfectly. There was another guitar with a better flame, and that I went to see of the same run of guitars, and I went very far to see it actually in Japan, in a mall. There was a guitar shop there, and it just didn't work. The sound wasn't coming through properly here. So I went back to this guitar. I went back to the shop because I tried it once. The next day, after trying the other one, I went back to this, and I'm like, this is the one. Okay, the neck is not very black. You know, you want to have a very dark kind of fretboard, rosewood. Here it's a bit less dark, but it's one of those woods, slightly clearer rosewood types that is very smooth. So actually it's better than some of the darker ones I've owned. And so very, very easy to play with a nice big frets just the way I like it. Sometimes the fret is just a bit too small. I had the Peter Green guitar, the collector's choice #1, if you know what it is, and the frets were just a bit too small. Too bad, because the guitar was amazing and the out-of-phase sound was great. But then again, yeah. So once I had this guitar, I just found the one and I played to rehearse. I played at the gigs. It's very expensive, you know. It's about more than 800,000 yen, so it would be yeah, 8,000 US dollar and more. But it was worth it because it destroyed everything else that I had. It's better than my Joe Perry and my 58 and everything. They all have a different way to play, different necks, different sound. But this one really brought it all together. You know, I wouldn't really want to play heavy metal with it. I can, but you know, maybe I'll pick up a different guitar for that purpose. This one is just perfect for what I do most, 99% of the time. You know, Rolling Stones, ZZ Top, Led Zeppelin, Lynyrd Skynyrd, all my favorite bands, Mott the Hoople and whatnot. So there you go. I wanted to present to you this very unusual guitar. I got it, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years ago, and that's really what I play 99% of the time. It's just perfect, and it's actually better than the run of the official run of Jimmy Page #1 that the custom shop did. I thought it would be interesting to you if you love guitars, and I hope you guys, I wish you guys to also find the one that to rule them all one day, so you can get rid of the stuff you don't really need. All right, guys, bye bye.